I would like to introduce to you the new district governor of District 9213, Mike Kennedy Ssebalu.
We want to do amazing things in an amazing way. Are you assuring me that you are going to do amazing things?
When Paul Harris started Rotary, his ambition was to ensure there was fellowship. His ambition was to ensure that people of like minds sit together and fellowship and exchange business ideas. This was to ensure that people got together in different walks of life. Now today, districts are across the world, in different continents, different countries. In my country, we have two districts, District 9213 and District 9214. Welcome to the Rotary Moment Show.
The call to lead is a call to serve. And a call to serve effectively is the outcome of leadership. Education is a game changer. Education is an equalizer.
Well, today I bring you the profile of District Governor Mike Kennedy Ssebalu. He has been known to be a politician, but one that serves his people. And after that political life, he came to Rotary. He has been within Rotary while he was serving as a politician, and one that has served his people very well. And that we are going to demystify. Can a Rotarian be a politician? Can they serve? Are they honest enough to serve? And by him becoming a district governor of Rotary and the district of 9213 will show you that he is an honest politician and a governor that has led with a lot of integrity. In 18 DC, there was a Caesar called Romulus Amelius who had a wife that was very beautiful, and Rome praised her beauty. But alas, she never did anything for Rome. 200 years later, after that particular Caesar had died and some of his descendants had passed, a Caesar called Ramelius Arima Maloris had a wife. And this wife ruled Rome. When you hear of the conquering of the world that Rome had, was because of Annalisa. She was a descendant from Italy today, where Italy is coming from, and her mother was from Northumbria. But what is so amazing about that wife was that she held her hand, the hand of her husband, and removed most of the discrepancies the Romans used to argue about. The bad behavior that the Romans had. I'll tell you today that a good wife will always show with a good leader who is sitting in that chair. Today I'm proud to be interviewing the wife to the district governor, 9213. She's going to introduce herself, but from everything I've seen and what we're going to hear, you're going to hear that wife of the Caesar that changed a lot. Welcome to the Rotary Moment Show. I know that when a district governor is announced, that's not when the work starts. Being a district governor takes a lot of family time, takes a lot of your time. I've had it takes over the whole of your life. But before we do that, I want you to do for me one favor. Introduce us to who you are, what you do, and what it is that you're doing with our DG, our district governor. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Margaret Nakatude Ssebalu. I have the honor of having the title of Nalongo.
Indeed.
The twins are girls.
Yeah.
I have 4 biological children, 2 boys and 2 the twin girls, but I have many more children and grandchildren.
Yeah.
Now I work with MTN Uganda in the customer experience department, particularly in the, I'm a billing administrator. We deal with all the corporate clients. Now I have been there for about 22 years, 23
Wow.
years. I've been working with MTN and they've been good to me.
Margaret, who is Mike Ssebalu to you?
Mike Ssebalu to me officially is my husband. but he's my best friend. He is someone who has I know he has my back at any one time, busy as he may be. There are times he even cuts short something where I say, Mike, I need to talk. And he says, okay, give me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And he calls me back. I vent or do whatever, say whatever I need to do at that time.
Yes.
And then somehow, by the time I've finished, I'm feeling better.
So a wife, a best friend, and somebody she can still scream at.
Yes. I can still scream at him. Unfortunately, the good thing it's not often. It's very rare. And he doesn't hold grudges.
Yes.
He will take it from there. He won't be like, oh, this one screamed at me, so I'm not going to talk to her. No.
Last year in Naivasha, they announced Mike Kennedy Ssebalu as district governor. What happened to your head at that time?
Oh, I just said, thank God.
Really?
Sincerely, I said, thank God, because I have seen Mike in Rotary. I have seen Mike at home, and he's so passionate about it. He really, really wanted.
Yeah.
He went for it, because when he asked me about it, should I apply? I asked him, how do you feel? Do you think you can do it? And he said, yeah, I believe I can do it. So I said, then go for it. It took only like 5 minutes. I said, oh my God, what has he just done? And, you know, I said, oh, Jesus, okay, we'll take one day at a time.
So for you, it wasn't, oh my God, how am I going to host all these people?
Okay, about hosting, to me that wasn't an issue at all, because I had been doing it before.
Yeah.
So it was just, okay, now it's now Rotary. It's not
politics.
Parliament.
Yeah.
It's not the village thing where we stay.
Yeah.
And so it was okay. And also on top of that, Mike's side of the family is very huge. So usually when they have any functions, they end up here. So hosting was not a problem.
Has not been
at
a
all.
problem.
No. Now for me, life became easier. I have a lady who does the catering for me.
Good.
I have a person who brings drinks. I have someone who mixes cocktails. So it's a question of telling them.
And then you put everything together.
Yeah, I have 200 people or 300. I need ABCD. And the rest is done.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to get a bit more personal. So we have all these people we are hosting, but there's that special part of Mike at home. What is it that he wakes up to?
Honestly, I don't make those big breakfasts.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
And the good thing, he doesn't eat much. He just needs to take something light. So I usually prepare fruits.
Okay.
Again, majority of the time I leave home before him. So I prepare the fruits or the tea and I just leave it on the table,
For him to take. He's a picky eater.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Because even if we've gone out, he'll be like, Maggie, what am I eating today? He won't even look at the menu.
Yeah.
He'll just say, just you choose something that I will eat because you know it better.
What you're going to eat. Well, that's our governor and his wife.
Yeah.
So she is a district governor's wife who is a Rotarian. And I think for her, the bed was laid really well. I want to ask you about your Rotary life. When did you join Rotary? Who joined Rotary first? Which club do you come from? Yeah.
Well, Mike joined Rotary first.
Yeah.
He was invited to address the Rotary Club of Bukoto by one of his colleagues who used to, Sylvia Ange. I think these days she's a bit low-key. Okay. And he went to address them. And when he finished when the fellowship was over, he was invited to join. So he started going to Rotary. Personally, I had no idea at that time what Rotary was. Okay. And he kept saying, on Tuesday I have to go here. On Tuesday I have to. And I'm like, what's the big deal? So he told me, why don't you come and see what it's all about?
I've heard so many stories. How he joined, he says he's the one who brought Mom in. Mom says she's the one that brought him in. So it's hard to know who introduced Rotary to one another.
And I would go with him to other clubs. That's how I got interested in Rotary. Okay. There was also and gentleman by the name of James Galabuzi,
Yeah.
past assistant governor
Yeah,
from
General.
Kampala Arch. I think he was tasked to come up with a club. And he saw that there was a catchment area around Mengo, Mutunze, you know, Busega, Natete. So he invited me to join them. I am a charter member of the Rotary Club of Natete, Kampala.
Oh, that's nice.
I am a
Natete.
past president too.
Past president too.
Yes. We were presidents the same year, Mike
with,
and I.
with Mike.
Yes, 2012, 2013.
Oh.
He was president of Bukoto,
How
I was
does
president
that
of
play out?
Natete.
Because that is not even healthy.
We decided to do it once and for all.
Eh.
We sat, we talked about it, asked him, do you think we can manage this? And you know, to him, nothing fails. So he said, yes, we can. And he was in East African Parliament, so he was up and
At the
down.
time he was president.
Yes, he was. Oh my God. Sometimes he would fly in on the weekend.
Would he make the Tuesday fellowship?
Yes, he would make the Tuesday fellowship and take the, I think there was a 5 o'clock
The
flight.
5 o'clock flight,
to
5:45
Nairobi.
to Nairobi.
Yeah. He would take that. As soon as fellowship's over, he just comes, had something to eat, and to the airport. His club was very supportive.
Margaret, the next level I'm going to ask about the year, how the year has been for your husband. But now I want to talk about his year as the district governor and why education.
Now, for Mike to think of education takes us back to when he was young. His family is well educated, by the way. You know, they've got their masters, they've got their
the
thing, yeah.
PhDs.
But it came like a bit later.
Yeah.
But I think Mike's the one who showed the biggest interest in school. So the mother did everything in her power to make sure that he goes. Not that the others were not thing, but I think he had better chances.
Yeah.
So he went to the local school in Mugongo, and then he progressed to Budo. Now when he got there, then his mother even sold her land
Oh.
just to make sure that he goes to that school. I when he had stood for MP for Siro East, the second time round. He was an MP,
Yeah.
and he was, wanted to renew his relationship with the constituency. But he was studying for his master's
At the same time.
at the same time.
How does that work?
He's got energy.
I was actually with him for some of his visits, his DG visits this year. I don't know how he has that energy to do all of that at his age, but whew, it wasn't. Because the moving around, it was killer.
He was studying for his master's, so we were going to rallies. You know.
Yeah.
I even took leave from MTN. I said,
Oh
we
my
are going to
God.
do rallies now. So, and I would
But you seem to be the one pushing him in. I can't imagine.
I would just prepare his breakfast, his lunch, drinks and all that, put it in a cooler with something, you know, and we would hit the road.
He used to be in politics and Rotary. I can't tell, it's not much of a difference. It's like they're almost the same thing. Because politics, he was almost like 24/7, just in for like 5 hours, out the next day. Comes in today, out tomorrow.
In the constituency, promoted that, and then they called him for his is it Viva? He had to defend his paper,
Okay.
and it was right in the middle of that.
The election.
Yeah, and he said, okay, maybe I should leave it. I said, you're mad. You've gone through all this for your masters, and just for an election, you want to, you know, postpone. What if you don't get another chance? So he said, but what do I do? He said, you get up in the morning and you read. And then we hit the road with your books. And from one point to another,
You're
okay, that
reading.
one, yeah, I can give you some leeway there. But you're going to go and defend it. There's no way you're giving it up. So that is what he did. He moved with his books.
Yeah.
He would hold his rallies and we'd go back home, make sure he eats, then wake him up at around 3:34
To read.
Read. Yes. So that is what we went through. And I believe in the end it was justified. Okay, he could have not had the good moments about me, but in the
You
end,
were
what
the Askari
happened?
at that
He
time.
lost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, he lost that
he
election.
lost out. And, you know, people were like, okay, let's see what he's going to do next. What can you know, that kind of talk.
So in sense you were right, because now he needs the paper.
Yeah, So, and then this post for the East African Legislative Assembly came up.
Yeah.
He got wind of it pretty early. He started his campaigns, because
Yes.
it's the MPs now
that
who
they
were-
elect you.
Yeah, the electorate is the
Yeah.
MPs. And since he had been there, he did not have any trouble getting into Parliament.
Yeah.
And he spoke to them, and the results came out. He had passed.
And he had passed.
He graduated. He got his master's in
Yeah.
international relations and diplomacy.
Wow.
See how it helps.
You know? So those
It
books
was-
on the road were helpful.
The books on the road. So I kept
Yeah.
saying, I'm not going to say it, but
You did what
at
I
least you
told you.
listened.
When you look at it, the year has ended as of 28th. He's handing over 29th. He'll hand over the chain to somebody else. Wait for another 2 months, and then we say bye-bye. Now that leaves us 2 months. And there's a lot that can be done in 2 months. How have we performed as Rotarians?
Rotarians have performed very, very well.
Yeah.
Because I think, I'm sorry, I don't recall which club it was. It had like 7 to 10 schools that it was handling at
Yeah.
any one given time. And Rotarians would have been giving up their days, sometimes weekends, because some of these days have been up country,
Yes.
which meant you had to travel for a couple of days
Yeah.
just to go there to read to the students, show them. I remember one time we went to Sese Islands.
Yeah.
That particular time I went with him. And we still had that reading and, you know, the books donation and things. We opened a library for kids. Okay, they started off that way. And they are still continuing with the program. Even now, sometimes I wake up to Belep or dear day. And I'm like, hey, guy, it's a bit early, isn't it? No, we have to do it today. And he said, at 11 o'clock, I have to be in Ginger. I asked, are you serious? He says, yeah, I have to go.
Yeah.
I can't ask other Rotarians to do this
If
and I
I'm
am
not
not
doing-
part of
yes,
it.
yeah.
So I thank all the Rotarians who have taken part in the Dear Days and are still taking part in the Dear Days. Thank you so much, because I believe we've exceeded what we envisioned. It is a lot more than that. And it's still continuing, and I believe even next year they will continue with the
There's no
project.
boy child who can't have education. So if it is coupled, it will work.
Yeah, it will even work better.
Yes.
Because I believe also the boy child has been marginalized. We've concentrated so much on the girl child that the boys have been left behind.
Yeah.
But as they say, much as you're putting the girl child ahead, don't forget to educate the boys to be able to deal with
To
these
deal
children.
with the children, yeah.
Yes. So they also have to be uplifted. And I believe that's a very good project for the incoming governor. Much as I'm in 9214, I'm also ready to help 9213.
That was my final question. Amazing. I have one final question for Rotarian Margaret, the wife to our lovely, amazing District Governor Mike Kennedy Ssebalu. Now, Margaret comes from a different district. District Governor Mike Kennedy Ssebalu is the District Governor for District D9213. Now, his spouse belongs to D94, that is led by Peace Taremwa. It is an interesting concept that I'm sure them being the couple they are must be joking about it so many times. How did that feel, that you're in one district and your governor, your husband, is in another district?
Well, I must say at the beginning I thought this is strange. Now what am I going to do?
Yeah.
But you know, even Peace
Yes.
is a very, very good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And who I call my Chirasha mate. Because that's where we used to be before he became the district governor. And I actually spoke to both of them. I asked Mike, what do you expect me to do? What do you expect from me?
Yeah.
And I also asked Peace, is there anything you need me to do that it's different? And he was like, you go support your husband. I'm okay.
That's lovely.
Yeah. So whenever there's a clash, it depends on what exactly is or programs. Like if I had something with my club, majority of the time went to my club. And I'll say, you guys,
You sold that out.
have your seafood now. One thing I want to add.
Yes.
When we, before, became even president of our club of Mike, when we had projects, especially medical outreaches, we used to take the children with us.
Well, but moving around with him has actually helped me see how much work you have to do. It's not real easy as people say, because people just talking is very easy, that I'll just move from Lira to Jinja to Hoima and I'll be back within 3 days. But actually doing it, the travels, the light, staying awake, the being sleeping for only like 2 hours in the car, it's...
Yeah, Dad, he started politics when we were still like small, so it didn't really at the time we didn't know what he was doing. As we grew older, we got to understand his life and what he's doing. He really, really loves politics, that's for sure. That's one thing you won't take out of him.
I remember attending the very first, I think, the launch of Belep at Fairway Hotel on July 1st last year. For many of the trips that when I was still around, many of the trips up country to, I remember we went to Gulu, Lera, Mbarara. Yeah, many trips. And they were fun, meeting new people, taking part in some of the projects in those areas, seeing the new areas. Some of them I had never been. So yeah, your time has really opened up a lot that I got to see a lot more.
We wanted them to see.
Are they anywhere Interact, Rotaract?
The twins are Rotaract in Kozi.
Yeah, going with him to like Rotary meetings, like it also made us join Rotaract, that's for sure. Like he passed it on. So he made us love helping people, those who don't have. Yes, that you should help those who don't have much, because you're privileged and they are not. It could be reversed. You never know what's going to happen, and other people are the ones helping you. So it's good to give.
Yeah, we wanted them to see what goes on, why we joined Rotary. And I wanted them to appreciate that they are blessed.
Yes. So, my governor, how has the year been?
The
Rotarians performed.
the year has been interesting, exciting, engaging, and involving. And that is the sum total of the mantra that we agreed upon for this Rotary year of Imagine Rotary. And as a team leader, I imagined Rotary to be an amazing organization made up of amazing leaders and members doing amazing things in amazing ways to generate amazing outcomes and results for our amazing communities.
We were opened up, first of all. That was one of the most amazing things.
It was.
We were opened up, COVID went away. But now getting people into starting to do what they had not done for 2 years. I want to talk about the Dear Day.
Yes.
That massive hammer that fell
On day one.
Day one. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good. It makes me feel amazing.
Yes.
It makes me feel a sense of accomplishment. Because we had 2 years literally in the house.
Yes.
Rotary was confined to the living rooms,
Yes.
to the boardrooms,
Yes.
and to the homes.
Yeah.
So for the 2 years, we were more on remote, we were more hypothetical, we were more theoretical. We were not being felt, we were not being heard loudly, and we were not being seen as often as was the case before. as we planned to usher in the new year, even within the confines of the operating procedures, we agreed that we needed to come out and have some interaction. That is how the Dear Day came to be the point of departure. Beginning there with a bang, beginning there with action, beginning the year with a serious statement. And the statement was that we needed the world over to appreciate our thought, because the thought was to demystify reading. The thought was to enhance education, and that's why the project that we came up with, BELEP, is Basic Education and Literacy Enhancement Program.
And a wonderful execution it was.
Yeah, day one, you know, we were in the whole district.
Yes.
Because on day one, we had over 86 clubs participating. We had over 250 schools being engaged. And there were over tens of thousands of readers given out, and tens of thousands of children getting impacted with the initiative. I really want to thank the amazing presidents who put it together. I want to thank the chair for BELEP, Frederick Ketakule, and the entire team that put together such a wonderful launch, because in the day, at exactly 11, everywhere there was action, and it defined the mood of Rotary in the district. And that mood has been sustained up to the end.
Welcome with me on an exclusive profile interview, the District Governor, 9213, Mike Kennedy Ssebalu. You have all known Mike Ssebalu for having been a politician. He was a member of parliament. He has also represented the country at the East African Legislative Council and East African Parliament. Now here is Mike Ssebalu coming as a district governor for Rotary. People would wonder, are Rotarians politicians?
Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to put the political aspect in perspective. I've been at the political level at about 4 levels. One, I was a Constituent Assembly delegate representing the youth of the Central Region in the Constituent Assembly, where we debated, enacted and promulgated the Constitution of Uganda. So when you look at that Constitution, I have my ideas there. I participated in the same.
Wonderful.
Then I went on to be a member of parliament representing Busiro East in the Parliament of Uganda. I also went to serve as a Pan-African Parliament, the Parliament of Africa, based in Galaga Estate, South Africa. I served and I interacted with many political leaders from the African continent. Some of them went to become heads of state, like President Mahama, former president of Ghana. He was in my committee, I was his chair in the committee, so it gave me quite good exposure at the continental level. And I was also able to serve at the East African Legislative Assembly for 10 years. I served the full length of 2 terms, which are permissible within the Treaty of the East African Community. So that, in a broad sense, is the level of exposure that I was able to get across the political value chain and within the political ecosystem. And thereafter, I also served in governance, like the Africa Peer Review Mechanism. That is an African governance instrument that assesses African governments in the 4 thematic areas of governance: political governance, economic governance, socio-economic, and also corporate governance. Between politics and Rotary, is essentially service.
Yes.
Because any politician worth their name, responsibility, and focus, they should put emphasis on service. The call to lead is a call to serve. And a call to serve effectively is the outcome of leadership.
Mike Ssebalu is now the district governor of District 9213. And I'll assure you, and I speak, this year I'm swearing, I have not heard him speak about politics at any of the gatherings that we've been.
Yeah, and you know, there is something that people don't tend to look at seriously, because what is politics? Politics, by the definition, is the management of society.
Yes.
And the management of society is founded on serving society, putting in place mechanisms, programs, and agendas whose end total is to serve humanity. So politics is management of society. And once you serve, we play different politics. There is the politics that is partisan, which is ideological, and but real politics is the politics of development. And once you engage in politics of development, then you are serving. So when I joined politics, there was a bit of mixed reaction. Some people were like, a politician in Rotary? Yeah, they are good politicians who can be good Rotarians. Just like there are other engineers and all other professions. And likewise, there are people who are not good enough, even in all those cross-sections of life. So for me, I always choose to identify with good people, regardless of their background, regardless of who and what they are. Yeah, there are things that should be able to inform that narrative.
Yes.
One is sense of judgment.
Yes.
As a leader, you need to know and you need to apply a very good sense of judgment, knowing what applies when, where, how, and for what purpose. So when we come to service in Rotary, it is bipartisan. It's not partisan, because we are addressing the needs of everybody. If there are no good schools, you are going to suffer from the same. So in Rotary, we look at service above self. Now, service above self equally means above selfish interests. I always joke around that I may come as a politician, but I always leave my politics at the door. And once you are able to manage that well and apply good sense of judgment, you will enjoy Rotary just like you will enjoy your other aspects of life. When they come in here, they pick the values of Rotary and they move with it. And the values of Rotary are also good values, because they are also applicable to other forms of life. They're even applicable to politics. Because one, you talk about fellowship. Fellowship is simply being good to each other, appreciating each other, appreciating coexistence, and being each other's keeper. Now, fellowship applies in every aspect of life, because even in politics, you need fellowship. You need to appreciate, even when you disagree with someone, you don't have to call them names because you don't agree on a political issue or anything. So fellowship is one. The second one is service. Service is universal. It applies in all aspects of life, because it is the basis of the existence of humanity. It is service. And that is the second core value of Rotary. The third is integrity. Integrity is the mother of all virtues and values systems in the world. So again, we appreciate integrity like it is appreciated in every aspect of life. The fourth is diversity. We need to appreciate that we are diverse. We can simply not be the same. That possibility is not there, but we need to appreciate that each one may have their weakness and strength, and appreciate that together we are better than we are individually. And finally, leadership. is the final core value of Rotary. And leadership is in every aspect of Rotary, of life. At those 5 core areas of Rotary, they are applicable and relevant in all aspects of life.
I want us to go back to who is Mike Kennedy Ssebalu.
Yeah, Mike Ssebalu is a simple Ugandan
Yes.
is a simple East African
Yes.
of a Ugandan origin. So I have passion for East African integration and African integration because I do believe that as Africans, we are a race and we are better off working together to uplift our levels and participation in the global order. I'm a humble Ugandan, born from a very humble family with my sisters and my parents who are all deceased. And I happen to have taken over responsibility as the heir to my late dad. I'm a family person and I treasure family because I believe that family is the beginning and the end of everyone. You may move many distances, but you begin at the family and you'll definitely end at the family, regardless of your status, regardless of your profile, regardless of your standing. I do love my children. I do love my wife because that is part of me. Without them, then I'm less of myself. Cherish friendship, and I think friendship is a basis of meaningful and sustainable survival. And for that, I'm one of those people who believes in 2 multiple signs. I believe in mathematical signs, 2 of them. I believe in addition and multiplication. I don't believe in subtraction. I don't believe in division because they are retrogressive. I want a life informed by progressive tendencies. I believe in genuine friends out of connectivity. And I really value hard work. I value hard work. What I am and who I am is informed by hard work, not gambling, not speculation, and not anything. So that is a message I share to all those that I do interact with.
This is what you said. Where would I have found Wagwan Sibirwa? Where would I have found everybody if the field was not leveled? I remember you saying, by education.
Yeah.
Bringing the next question I have to ask, why education?
Because education. When you ask why education, because education. Education, like I always say, 1, education is a game changer. Education is an equalizer. Education is an enhancer. Education levels the ground. Education is the most sustainable form of empowerment. Education is the most effective and efficient tool of transformation. Education is what gets the best out of you. Education is what makes you competitive. Education is what makes you relevant. Education is what makes you a universal person. Because with education you can live anywhere in the world. Because all the things that we have, the possessions that we have, can cease. If your parents built for you a house like this, it can be raised on the ground in a war situation. If your parents bought you a kamunye to do commuter and make money, it can disappear in an accident. If your parents gave you anything, think about it, material, it has first of all, it has an expiry date, and it has a date when it runs out of value. But education will never be that. So for me, I'm the kind of person who believes in giving what I treasure most. What you treasure most, what is most desirable for you, should be that you wish for other people. Because like I've told you, I love people, but I don't stop from loving them. I wish them well too, and I value them too, and I cherish them too. So what I value most in my life is education. And that is the reason that what I value most is what I should wish for others, and it is what I should put before others. And that's why I came up with BELEP, Basic Education and Literacy Enhancement Program. Let the future be transformed using education. Let the poor children from poor families also have a basis of competitiveness. And that's why we began with the basics. You know, basic education and literacy enhancement can be seen as a low-cost project, but high impact. Because you can buy a book of 10,000, but that book can transform 50 children at that basic level. When they pick on it in turns and are able to learn to read and write. Because reading is the fountain of knowledge. Reading is the fountain of understanding. Reading is the fountain of reasoning. Reading is the fountain of knowledge base. Everything begins by reading, and the rest follows. When you look at it from the viewpoint of the 7 areas of focus of Rotary, reading can be a cross-cutting variable. It can be very useful in terms of literacy enhancement. It can be useful in peace and conflict resolution. It can be extremely useful in maternal and child health. It can be useful in disease prevention and treatment. It can be useful in economic and community development. It can be useful in water and sanitation. It can equally be useful in protection and conservation of the environment.
District Governor Mike Ssebalu, do you think you have been successful?
I don't want to say I. I don't believe in I. I believe in we. Has your team been successful? Yes, our team, the amazing team has been successful, because I believe in those variables. If you've been following my style of engagement, I believe in collectivity. I believe in teamwork. I believe in team spirit. I believe in team cohesion. I believe in team support. I believe in team engagement. I want to give an example of a football match. There is no single individual on the pitch who can win the match. Because even if you've scored 5 goals, if the goalkeeper lets in 6, you've lost it. As an individual, you may have a skill, but you may have excelled in scoring 5. You may even be considered man of the match, but your team has lost. So at the end of the day, you need teams. And that is how we've operated this year. I have a strong team of district officers, and I really want to say they've lived up to my expectations in terms of executing their respective mandates. I can give the example of BELEP. Frederick Kitakule has done exceptionally well with his team. He's really marshaled a great team, and the team has been able to deliver there through. Every quarter there is something that enhances and that consolidates the gains that we've made. And I really want to say that BELEP has been a smashing success, not because of me, but because of the support it has garnered from all the stakeholders. We've picked a lot of support from the Rotarians, support from the schools, support from the teachers, support from the parents, and also support from the policymakers, the government. So each and every stakeholder have played their role, and we've been able to make some humble contribution of enhancing whatever little we've been able to enhance. So that is an area. When you go to growing, when you go to membership, yeah, the team, Rebecca Mutawe and Dr. Nampala have done great with their team. They've been able to grow Rotary membership at two levels. There's the level of wholesale, and there's also a level of retail. Now, at the retail level, literally every club has been able to bring a member or two. We have over 20 clubs that have been able to bring in more than 10 members. We even have clubs that have been able to increase their membership 100%. So now we also have Rotractors. So far we have more than 10 Rotract clubs that are new ones that have come up. So I would like to thank the mother clubs that have sponsored, and I would like to thank Charles Odaga, who is the team leader for the youth, and he's been able to do great in that space of the youth. I would like to thank the DRR, Salo Mbabazi, with her team, because they've supported such initiative to ensure that such growth is realized. And when you go to the space of the youth, there is a lot of activity. They've undertaken impactful projects. They have Rotract Leadership Initiative. They've done great in such initiatives. They've been able to bring together Rotractors in business and have created a bonanza where they support themselves in such. They've been able to do amazing projects. They are giving to the foundation. So that space has also been very successful. They hosted very successful Raila, where youth who are not in Rotract are given skills and exposed to leadership. It was a 2-3 day event, very highly successful, and the feedback is so good from those that benefited. We also have Interact. As of today, the 10th Interact Club was admitted, and many more are lined up. So by the time we close there, we shall be beyond, and the target was 10. So again, I would like to thank Peter Damzungu, who is in charge of that, and his team. They've done pretty well. Getting schools and all this has been good, but this has also been reinforced by our BELEP engagement, because we've worked so well with the schools. Schools have great trust in us, and they appreciate what we stand for. In terms of project, when you leave the BELEP alone, which has been a success story to the extent that it was celebrated globally. One of our members, Rose Namboze from the Rotary Club of Wakiso, was picked on for an award and a recognition from People of Action of Rotary, an arrangement by the Rotary International President, and she was honored and awarded in Cape Town from the 1st to the 5th. She was there as part of People of Action. But beyond that, there are other projects in all the 7 areas of focus. Clubs have really implemented life-changing and impactful projects. I can't go through all of them for shortage of time, but allow me just to throw light on the 7 by 7. I want to throw light on the 7 by 7. I came up with an idea of 7 by 7 because I really wanted to tap into the synergy. I wanted to encourage clubs to have unity of purpose. I wanted clubs to work together. I wanted clubs to appreciate the bigger picture rather than the small inward silo kind of model of projects. So I really wanted them to look at big impact, big measured impact. So that's why I came up with the idea of 7 by 7. And what informs the 7 by 7? It is that we have 7 areas of focus. That is peace and conflict resolution, child and maternal health, disease prevention and treatment, economic and community development, environment, environmental protection and conservation, basic education and literacy, water and sanitation. Those are the 7. So those are 7. And we want to see a community benefiting from interventions along those 7. But rather than each club going into that, where they may be stretched with the resources, with the numbers, with the capacity, I wanted the 7 clubs to come together, each making an intervention in an area of focus, so that at the end of the day, we are able to use a comparative analysis to see the kind of impact that is generated out of 7 clubs descending on one community and implementing areas of focus specifically. I made it a challenge because it is not easy. That's why I called it the 7 by 7 challenge, so that I see those clubs that are ready to subordinate their authority, their authority to a supra arrangement of multiple actors for purposes of generating a common but bigger good. And we've heard about 4 sets that have come up. There is one of Ginger Road Corridor. They are in 2 categories, Ginger Road Corridor A and B. One is in Kwale, and there is another one in Mukono, in another part of Mukono. And they've come up. They've started 7 by 7, where each club is taking up on something. The Rotary Club of Weogere Nambole started a school by erecting. They were given land by the church. The Club of Mukono is dealing with water. There's a Rotary Club of Namugongo is dealing with the planting trees. They've already planted an acre plus of trees. You find that they need to cooperate. You can't do 7 by 7 without cooperation. You can't do 7 by 7 without communication. You can't do 7 by 7 without coordination. You can't do 7 by 7 without collaboration. You can't do 7 by 7 without connection. You can't do 7 by 7 without good character as leaders. And you can't do 7 by 7 without appreciating the seas. So they are going to celebrate changed communities and impacted communities. In the area of economic and community development, one model where we went, I was amazed, where the clubs decided that everything they are going to use in that project, they buy it from the community. Cement, the food, the public address system, the trees for plant. So they used the practical dimension of empowering the community with money. And they caused quite a bit of inflation in the community because they go and everything is purchased.
As the district governor is going to respond, I also want to ask, there's no good without bad. What has been one of those most challenging things that you've endured, you've had to go through?
It has been bits of challenges in terms of coping with the speed and with the amazing way of doing things. For instance, on the scorecard of everything, we've scored above average. I can give an example. We do have clubs qualifying to participate in global grants. 66 clubs have qualified. That is the highest ever. But the fact that out of 106 clubs, there are those that have not qualified, still it gives me pain. Now, there were also several clubs that were zero giving clubs. That one have fought. As we speak, we don't have a zero giving club because I've engaged them. Because if zero giving clubs entails that even the president has not given anything. I've used that challenge to get the presidents out of their comfort zones, and they are mobilizing their people, so we don't have a zero giving. But in terms of membership, there are also clubs which are too small. You find a club of 15 members. When you visit them, you feel a little disturbed. You are not too sure whether you are addressing a birthday group, or whether you are addressing a committee, or whether you are addressing a directorate. So there are also areas of uploading their goals in Rotary Club Central. You find that a club has not uploaded their targets, which means that even if they do good, there is no basis of judging them. We've worked on it using the officers and the assistant governors, and we've been able to support many of the clubs to come out of such embarrassing and unfortunate situation, because an effective club must set targets, which targets are entered and serve as a basis of assessing your performance. Mbarara is ready. Now, having agreed that early at the level of D&D, Governor Peace and I have walked that journey amazingly. We have had unity of purpose. We have had effective collaboration, cooperation, mutual engagement on the same. We appointed a team of leaders. On my side, I appointed PAG Geoffrey Kitakule, and Governor Peace appointed PAG Dan Damulira. Those two have been very compatible in the manner in which they've managed the affairs of preparing for this discon. Las Vegas Gardens have been given leverage to kickstart their entry into the market with a big, amazing event.
When you hear Mike Kennedy Ssebalu speaking, you don't want him to stop, because he's full of wisdom, and I wish a lot of the Rotarians would pick that from him. We have just profiled a great gentleman today, but for you who has been watching, what have you learned? Did you learn anything about Rotary? Did you like the education program that was launched? What was your contribution? He has put down his contribution in history, and that's a legacy that he will live forever. So for all of you Rotarians, thank you for contributing to the successful year of the District Governor, Mike Ssebalu.
One thing that needs to be appreciated by all Rotarians and the communities that we serve is informed by the new vision statement of Rotary, which states that together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities and in ourselves. And I want to state that during this Rotary year, as Rotarians in District 9213 and District 9214, we've come together amazingly and visionary to create lasting change through the 7 areas of focus and through the impactful and life-changing projects that we've been able to implement. It is those projects that define us. It is those projects that create our relevance. It is those projects that form our output, outcome, deliverables, and the impact. And that's what defines the lasting change. So with the basic education and literacy enhancement, we've created a lasting change in our communities. With the 7x7, we've created lasting change in our communities. With the tukutuku, we've created lasting change in our communities. So that is what we are for, because ours is doing good in the world, using our vocations, using our classifications, using our education, using our experience, using our exposure, and using our expertise. That's what makes us those that are ready to serve above self. And to do that, you have to sacrifice. Sacrifice the comfort of your home, sacrifice the comfort of your time, sacrifice resources for doing good in the world. Thank you.
Hasn't this been beautiful? Haven't you had fun? Isn't it nice to hear from the horse's mouth what he is and what he has done? I think for me this has been so refreshing. As the Rotary Moment, we would like to thank all of you who have been here with us. I think for me, what we've just seen is one of the most amazing interviews. Look at how beautiful his children have adopted to all this. His wife and himself embraced governance and embraced the service in Rotary. Thank you for being with us. This has been the Rotary Moment Show. Join us again next time here on UBC and on the Rotary Moment Show on YouTube, on Twitter, at Twitter2, at the Rotary Moment, and on Facebook, the Rotary Moment Show. It is a beautiful time of the year, and again, we have the district conference that is coming, come 27th to 29th. We look forward to seeing all of you Rotarians in Barara.